What's up, everybody? Fearin here, and we are back at it again with another Siege video. Today we pulled SWC main and APOC. I was hoping this would be an interesting Siege, but the other two guilds ended up doing a 1v1, so it was a bit of a rush to get hits in just because we didn't really have a lot to attack since they weren't hitting us. Our first attack that we're getting in here is a Tractor Windy Lulu versus a Nana Jogan Savannah. This is decently okay. I think a fire healer over the Lulu is typically what people will run instead, so like a Tractor Windy Lala. I think a couple things that you can run here that make this interesting is I have a Bio Destroy Tractor on a little bit heavier damage build. He has a little bit of minus win, but he's not actually full tank here. You could run more minus win here for more safety, especially because you have the attack buff Savannah. But with the split damage between the Lulu and the Tractor, I was kind of favoring just killing stuff a little bit faster here. I also am running the Windy on a little bit less tanky build as well. We have triple revenge with full additional damage, artifacts, no minus fire or anything like that, because he's not really under threat. The main purpose of the Windy in this comp is to try and land the slow debuff on the Savannah and provide the speed buff and the shields to your team. I'm killing the Jogan first twice there, just because it's easiest for the Tractor to kill, and by getting stuns on him, we can stop the strips, stop the scrolls, and we're okay tanking out the Savannah for a bit here. And then lastly, we're just running the Lulu on a typical tank support build with no res. So because we have the Nana here, we just swap out the 100 res build for more damage. We're just assuming that there's going to be high accuracy in all these units, and we're not going to get value out of that resistance. We're just taking a little more defense, a little bit more HP. So again, I think fire heal a little bit safer because Lulu could get kind of popped with the attack buff and defense break, but first win is all done. Next, we're going to hit this LD tower. There's an Ophelia, Iris, Theo Mars. We're just going to Mirror Lucian this. I think there's some chance this is like Omega tanky, but without an HP lead, Iris just doesn't have enough base HP to make this anywhere near anti-Mirror, so we're able to just kill everything off except for the Theo Mars Endure, and then pop him after he snipes my Lucian at one hit. We are going to go into this same Nana Jogan Sav again with our Tractor Windy Lulu. I think this attack ended up being just a little bit closer. I think there's a little bit of misplay on my part and a little bit of just better RNG from the defense, but it still ended up being pretty safe. He scrolls away my Windy there, and you notice that the main thing that I'm trying to do here is the prevent the Savannah from getting defense broken and push back as much as possible, and kind of slow down that Savannah and Jogan as much as I can. So we're just trying to make sure that we're using our immunity on our Lulu for maximum effectiveness. Ideally, we're getting a skill 2 on the Lulu itself to cleanse an immunity, and then the next turn you have the skill 3 to give the 2-turn immunity for the team. If you're needing to use that skill 3 on yourself when you have debuffs, then it can lead you in a spot where you're just having a much bigger gap in immunity. And you can see there, I did the wrong thing. I think I was a little worried about the scroll coming in on the Lulu and the Tractor getting focused, because I have the same like more damage build on him. And this is kind of the situation you want to avoid. We got the defense break and the pushback on the Lulu. We actually got stunned by the Nana as well. Luckily we proc out here, and now we're actually forced to use the skill 3 in a situation where we don't get an immunity on my Lulu. So now the next time there's a defense break from like the Nana coming up, right here, we can get into a little bit of a worse situation here. So I think if I had just used that skill 2 on myself to prep the skill 3 on the Lulu, then I could have been in a much better situation here. And again, we kind of desynced things so that we used the skill 2 a little bit early. And now we have the skill 3 coming up. We don't have immunity on the Lulu. We got slowed, and so we're forced again to not get that 2-turn immunity on Lulu. But I think we're still ended up being okay here. We're a little bit scared of no immunity and this attack buff Savannah, so we're trying to get a slow debuff up, which we do. We still get defense broken and pushed back, which makes sense just because we don't have enough stats on this build to prevent that. We're able to get back into our safe space on our Lulu, and we've dismounted the Savannah and gotten one of the orbs already. So at this point, we're feeling a little bit better. The Jokin is starting to go a little bit crazy on me, but I'm not really worried about the anyone but the Lulu dying, just because they're not going to be able to defense break, and this Savannah is trying its hardest, especially with the Lulu scroll, to just get a couple of procs in here. But you can see that the tractor, even without a ton of minus wind, as soon as the attack buff is done, it still needs a lot of procs to kill this tanky unit. So that's why in this offense, I tend to favor the more additional damage rather than more minus wind, especially since you know, the Windy's not doing a ton of damage. Next, we're going to go into a little bit of an older defense, but we have this Molong Molly Sav. I'm taking in a Fang Tessa Lulu. I think this is a little bit of a tier 2 comp, but I think it's still pretty safe. But you'll see other folks on YouTube or other Siege people do something like a double wind water tank, which I think is a little bit safer. This is just a lot faster. And again, we were trying to rush to get hits in at the end of the siege because the other two guilds were 1v1ing. So what I like to do here is I like to open with some 2-mounted debuffs on the Molly so that she shields herself. We get a lucky proc here in the Tessa to just get the Oblivion into the kill on this Savannah. And at this point, it's pretty safe. This Molong can go crazy, it doesn't matter. Even if the Tessa dies, the Fang Lulu is a pretty easy 2v2 into this. We're going to do a little bit of destroy on the Molong. I think actually I made a little bit of a misplay here. I think I hit this one more time later and I do a better job. You really want to be just killing the Molly second. There is some small chance of Molong Molly just doing crazy things if the tesarian goes down. And tesarian's passive is that if the unit hitting him has no debuffs, then he takes reduced damage. So by putting the debuff up on the Molong, it actually increases your chance for that unit to get sniped. Next, we're going to hit this Theo Wunsa Savannah. I'm taking in a cleave here with the Galleon, Chung Pung, and Tiana. I think I'm thinking kind of long and hard about this because I'm like wondering, okay, is there a chance that the base speed on Wunsa is just so insane that I lose the speed race here and Swift Savannah or something? But I have a decently fast Tiana. We have the 24 lead. We land everything here. We don't dismount the Savannah, but we get the reset on the Theomars, and we're able to clean up everything here and do okay here. We're going to go again into this Mo Molly Savannah with the Fang Tessa Lulu. Same idea again. We're going to open with the debuffs onto the Molong, or onto the Molly to trigger that shield AI. This fight, just the faster you can kill the Savannah, the easier it is. There's still always some threat with that skill 3. You're not controlling it as much in this comp from the Savannah. And so that shield is just really annoying to work through, and by not having to go through it, we get this proc again. the same lucky proc, but we're able to just take out that Savannah on that first rotation after we get the Molly shield. And I think this time I might kill the Molly first. Again, just by debuffing the Molong, you're increasing the chance that it can go crazy and do a lot more damage into your tesarian. So I think it's just safer to kill that first. Yeah, you can see here that Reckless Assault does maybe a third of his health when you have that reduction plus the minus water on artifacts, and we're able to pretty easily just pull ourselves back up on that. And then with the Oblivion on the Molly and the damage from the Fang and the defense breaks, it's not too hard to push through this Molly. It's not like there's a chance of this just stalling out forever and you're leaving one more unit, so it's not the worst thing to kill this second. But yeah, hit this defense again. We got a little bit lucky with the procs. I still think this is a little bit of a 90% comp. There's still a decent chance that you get RNG into the beginning, but pretty fast comp. It works a lot faster than some of the other stuff, and when you're short on time, it's definitely great. Next, we're going to hit into this Molong, Molly, and Seger. We've been seeing a lot of the Steel Molly Seger, which I still think is pretty scary defense. I think this variant isn't anywhere near as scary just because the damage is a lot more predictable. With Theomars, you just have to prepare for the Theo to hit anything, versus if you bring in some sort of fire tank, right, then the molong is just never gonna move here. So we have the shield and minus water on the Rika, able to pretty easily take out the molong reckless. We're going to continue to reset the seger so that it doesn't strip anything. I think that this offense becomes a little more sketchy if the seger is on will, just because you don't get that reset from the Gainy right away. But I see a lot of triple non-will in this defense, or at least a couple things off. And even if the seger is on will, you can ventilate the Wusa back up after it gets reset. If you don't get taunted, you can cover for the entire team with stuns for the Rika. And you can also try and dish out the skill ones in the Gainy to get glancings up to lower the chance that you get defense broken or that the Seger lands its follow-up. We actually also, in this offense, moved a Destroy set onto the Wusa. We have two pretty high base speed units here where we can rune comfortably above the high speed tick. So we're on Violent. We didn't run Will just because we were really confident in outspeeding. And then I actually put Destroy, like I said, onto this Wusa so that there's not really a chance of the Molly 3v1ing. I think before the Wusa buff, before when he did less damage, it was a little scarier. Just because the Rika dots can be really inconsistent into the Molly. But now with that Wusa buff, and especially with the ability to ventilate the Wusa to get more skill 2s off, this is like, we're not worried about the Molly 3v1ing. And then Destroy is just a thing that makes this even faster. If there was some case that, Nemesis Molly with 100 res just goes crazy. But you can see here, we're just chain sleeping with the skill 1s. We get another Fire Guardian Angel from the Rika. We're going to let the Wusa do the skill 2, and then we're going to ventilate him back up in a second to do that again. And eventually we're going to be able to take down this Molly and finish off this win. We're going to hit this Molong Molly Seger again, this time with a double wind water comp. So again, this is like a pretty typical thing that we've been seeing in a lot of offenses with this double wind water comp. The idea is that you can 100% funnel the AI into a water tank because you have Seger defense breaking, and then Molong is likely not going to hit the wind units. Because you have a water tank rather than a fire tank for the Molong, there is a chance that if there's a defense break that he can retarget onto the wind units, but there's no AoE defense break here. The defense breaks only come from the water unit and the wind unit. So pretty much we're able to 100% tunnel this AI onto Rina. The Seger doesn't do a ton of damage, and Rina with minus water can just, like I think you saw the Reckless Assault just barely did anything into the shield. Even if the Seger is run on low crit rate, the Molong with the triple hits and just the attribute advantage makes it so that you'll get some shields. Again, there's not a ton of damage output, so it's not like you need it to proc every single turn. And then for my wind of choice into this, I took Riley and I took Momo. Momo I just think is fun. The scaling makes this comp, if you don't get any procs or RNG, eventually Momo just gets so crazy that it'll start one-shotting things. And then Riley, I think, is just one of the highest sustain healers, and then you bring in the attack buff as well. So you probably could do something with like almost any other wind damage dealer. And then I think for the healer, Riley's definitely the best, but you could probably use something like a Jasun or probably not a Triana here just because it's not quite enough healing. It brings you a little bit more safety. Maybe paired with Arena, it's okay. But yeah, Riley pretty nice. We have Destroy. And again, Momo just gets to a point where with the attack buff, she starts just hitting so hard that I really love this unit. Yeah, a lot of fun. Next, we're going to hit into this Sierra Orion Rakan. I've been seeing a lot of people kind of adjust to Sierra Orion Perna with the Rakan buff, and then I've also seen some of this with like Masha after her buff. I think this Defense is just a little weird without the perna. It becomes a lot easier to cleave. Like I think something like a Garo Jericho Kali, you can snipe the Drakan and then sit behind this stuff pretty easily. And then this is another pretty common Sierra Orion perna counter that people use. It's a little more premium, which is the Bulwark Windy Amelia. The idea is you have the Windy kind of full tanking everything except for the Ciara and just feeding stacks into your Bulwark, so you can just continue to 5-stack suck everything. And typically with the perna variant, it's a little annoying because the perna healing actually makes it weird to kill with Bulwark. But without any healing, all damage is permanent here. We're able to get our second suck off and then just finish off this Sierra. The Rakan is no way going to kill our Windy. It's super tanky. We have minus fire on it, and then we have tons of healing coming out from the Bulwark. I feel like I even got a little bit, I don't want to say like bad RNG, but like I got taunted on the Amelia turn 1, and I didn't even get into my immunity, the human form for immunity, until the Sierra was pretty much dead. We got a little bit of good luck in that the Sierra was targeting the Bulwark, but again, I think I was a little lazy on the rune swapping. I don't think I ran Will on Amelia, which again, into the Orion stuff, bringing Will is really important. Even though it can strip 2 buffs, you're basically making it so that Orion has to both strip and stun the same unit in order to get anything off, which is just a lot less likely than if you the stun could land on anyone. And then for our last attack here, there's a Sierra Theomars Jogan. This defense actually had a really insane win rate. I was a little nervous just to Poseidon this. But again, we feel like as long as we hit stuff, we get the crit and the defense break on the Sierra, but we missed the pushback. It misses the bomb. Even if it hit the bomb, still would have been okay. We go for the skill 2 silence so that it doesn't defense break, but we miss it. And again, into these DMRs comps with the cleave, we're just hoping that it doesn't triple proc into an endure buff again. But there we go. There's our 10th win in a row to close out the siege. All right, the siege battle is now over. We ended up taking first, with APOC taking second and SWC taking third. We got 373 guild points and 334 crystals for our trouble. And this is what the map looked like at the end. Again, SWC and APOC basically ended up 1v1ing here. And then once the timer of the match ended up kind of going down at the end, we just kind of took everything because we still had a lot of attacks left. Thanks again, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.